we're going to play some Bill first. Let's get some Bill gameplay going. And this is a special stream because we're going to go and watch a developer's question and answers. I'm intrigued as to what questions I had, and definitely the answers are going to give. So we will go over that. I believe it starts in around 40 minutes, so I'm going to get a couple of games in first, and then we'll go into the live stream. Oh, survivor queues, Thursday night, not good, not good. Sai, how are you doing? How was the VR, more importantly? I know you said you had some fun with it, is it still going well? Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Good. So, like I said, I was just sat around, thought, you know what, question and answers on soon, let's put it on and just put it on stream, see what everyone's reaction is. I'm expecting some interesting questions. I know there's going to be nothing questions as well. You know, like when's new cargo pants coming out for Bill? You know, and they'll probably be answered, but I'm sure there'll be other juicy questions on there. I haven't tried it yet. I am going to try it this weekend though. So I'll probably give it a try on Saturday and see if I can get the VPN on my PC. I mean, it works. The VPN's working for everything else. Watching Disney Plus and Netflix and what have you. So they all seem fine. So I can't see why it won't work. And then we can get back onto the podcast trail and see what we can do with that. It switched me on the servers today, so I had a couple of games before I went live, and I was playing in the Asian server, and all my teammates were Japanese, Chinese, Thailand again. So the other day I was playing with Polish, Russian. Seems quite random. I just keep switching between different servers. But this never changes. Fortunately, no matter where I'm playing, that's always quite high. It's not affecting the games though. It isn't affecting the games. How was the VPN? Not VPN. The VR then, Si? Did it work alright? Plenty of jump scares? You did hit the wall a few times. That's not too bad. I've seen people break their tellies and things like that. So yeah, hitting a few walls probably isn't too bad. Is it routers causing? It's connected hardwired in. So I think the problem is when I looked into it that because I'm in the Middle East now, the nearest servers to me are either Singapore and China or in Europe, Germany. So I think the issue is I'm in the middle and it's quite a big distance to both. So that's what I mean. Oh, it's a nurse. That's what I mean. It sort of puts me on different servers, but I don't think either of them are thousands of miles away. So not good. But like I said, it's not actually affecting the gameplay. It was when I was using Wi-Fi, but since I've hardwired it, it's been fine. And nobody I've played with has complained, so... See how good this nurse is. I always say it could either go one of two ways. There's one gen done. This one's going to be done soon. Let's see her in the distance there. Let's see what she's got. I've got hardly anything around me, so hoping she doesn't come this way. Right, there we go. Let's go. Where's she at? She's just gone upstairs. Yep. See if I can get this save. I've got Will Make It, and I have got borrowed time. Yeah, should have really checked my build before I went on. Okay, Meg, let's go. Do you want healing? I'm liking Wheel Maker. I need to grind some points. Great for doing that. Oh, no problem. I think we split the map as well. Where did that other generator get done at? I'll start on this. Oh. Uh-oh. Meg. Oh, she's seeing me. Right. She's going after that Meg still, I think. Yeah, she is. Right. I'm going to try to do this middle gen if that's not already been done. Yeah, get this middle gen done, I think. Oh, someone there. Probably pretty much GG. Am I enjoying Survivor a lot more? I think when I'm playing Killer on stream, it's hard for me to concentrate. So I just play Survivor just to get some chill games going. I mean, this is boring just doing this, but she's coming now. Hopefully she'll get a grab. Come in. Oh, shit. So dead. Oh, I ran into her. I thought she'd I thought I heard a blink. Hamid, how are you doing, my friend? How is it going? It has been a while. I haven't heard from you a while. I hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing very well. Right, what are these guys doing? I still think, going back to what you said, Si, I still think I enjoy killer games more. Definitely. More of a buzz about them, right? Do you want to heal me? Right. I'll go for this rescue while they do the gen. Going this way. barbecue. This gen's been done. Right, yeah, she's gone straight past me. I think she's going for them two ladies on the gen. I'm doing well as well, Hamid, yeah, doing really well. So just trying to get back into it really, because it's been a while since I've really got into the game. Thoughts on the plague update? Plague buff. Yeah, I think I've always liked the plague, to be honest. Oh, hello. I've always thought she's a bit of a underrated. She's got a potential, and any improvement on is going to help. Could they have done more? Possibly, I think, but you know, is it going to make one of the top tier killers? No, but it's a step in the right direction for her. That's for sure. The update, I believe, it's about the 19th of October. Oh, there we go. Where's the other door? Yeah, about the 19th of October, so lots and lots of changes on that. That's really good to see. They have done some questionable ones. If you watch my video, I did think the Deathslinger one was quite harsh, but yeah. Shit. She's chasing someone. I can hear her. She's gone. Yeah, Deathslinger is going to be. I don't know. I don't play Deathslinger enough to really give. Alright, Ness. I feel a bit bad on this Ness. I always feel bad on Nesses. Yeah, Hamid, it is the 19th, isn't it? I thought I got that right. There we go. Yeah, I do feel bad for nurses when they're clearly new. I mean, this nurse was alright, it just didn't pressure enough, I suppose. Funny ranking system. Yeah, I mean, did you try him on the PTB side? Are you on console? Obviously a Deathslinger main, it must have been really sad. Yeah, I think you should just got to try him out and just see what happens. There's been plenty of times when changes have been done, people have complained, and then all of a sudden they've started enjoying them again, or enjoying the changes that were made. Maybe not enjoying it, but got used to it. So. He does, Hamid, yeah. I think they were extremely harsh with the changes, but I think from what I've seen, I didn't play him on a PTB. I just usually get in the PTB, try out a few things and get out as quick as I can. I don't really enjoy the PTB, but I never tried Deathslinger. I tried the Trapper and his stuff. He's certainly an improvement. Is everyone looking forward to the question answers? Did you have plans on watching it anyway? Be interesting if they have any announcement on there. Did everyone see the Epic Games? The tweet between them and Dead by Daylight? So people are saying that something's going on there. Maybe some crossover. But Dead by Daylight started following Epic Games and Epic Games tweeted about it. So that was quite interesting. The first thing that springs to mind with Epic Games is Fortnite for me, but yeah, players are going to be able to dodge you more. You can't do the quick shots really. I think that's the main thing, isn't it? Obviously, you've probably put a lot of hours into them, getting used to that, and then it's just being took away. I think that's what they're trying to do, Hammered, with the quick, you know, like the quick scope, let's call it. Yeah, I think they've tried to say, right, okay, we're going to take that away. The game is being viable on the Epic Games Store. Yeah, possibly. It's not going to be Fortnite, surely, is it? As I say, that's just the first thing that springs to mind when I see Epic Games. There's no way, there's nothing horror about Fortnite, is there? Yeah, exactly. A little bit of horror? Again, I haven't played Fortnite enough to comment. Just my initial thought when I hear Fortnite, I just think of a, like you said, Si, a cartoon game. But we'll see. Could be nothing, but I do think there's something in it. With them tweeting, I think there is. But I'm sure there's plenty of other Epic games out there. Don't mock the pickaxe. That when I tried Fortnite, that's all I could do. Never landed in the right places. Everyone around me got guns, and I was just trying to hit them with a pickaxe, and died pretty quickly. And obviously, as you know, I cannot aim, so Fortnite wasn't the game for me. Too busy and frantic for my liking. So the Epic Game Store, forgive me for my ignorance with this, I presume that would just be games owned by Epic, is that not the case? Ah, right. Okay, I didn't realise that. Yeah, that makes sense then. Probably is something just like that. You sick of Dead Hard? What's my build? I love Dead Hard. I love Dead Hard when I'm playing Survivor. But I do always fall for it. When I'm playing as Killer. I'm getting better though. Trying to wait it out. That's a trick, but sometimes it's just not counterable. If a Survivor plays it right, gets into a position to just prolong that chase, gets to the next loop, then yeah, it can be seen as a pain in the ass. For me, I don't use it like that. I just use it to rectify my mistake I make. All these killers keep leaving the lobby. You know what it does? I know what Dead Hard does, yeah. As I say, in the hands of good players, it's prolonging the chase. Simple as that. So Epic Games is an amazing feature of giving away free games. Now you've said all this, it does make sense. Because as I say, I couldn't see or think of any other games that it could have a crossover with. Oh, the killers left. Killers keep leaving. Another one left. What's wrong with this lobby? Is it something we've done or said? Have any survivors got millions of hours or something? 343. No information given with that one. Nothing on there. Strange. Is the game slowly losing players? I haven't looked at the stats for a while. I'll be honest with you. I think it's because I haven't played it for that long, but I'm finding that I'm finding it quite draining sometimes, if that's the right word. But that's just down to me. At the minute, I'm trying to juggle a new job with building a YouTube community, which has slowed right down with the fact that I didn't upload for so long, and also play the game. So something at the minute's given, but yeah, I haven't come across the hackers yet myself, but I've seen people talking about it, and it seems to be obviously the people at the high MMR, they're getting quite a lot of hackers in the games. Oh, someone's accepted the challenge. Oh, do you mean hackers take advantage of them being on Epic Games? Or just hackers in general? Right, I think we'll probably get into this game and we'll... I think the skill-based matchmaking's not helped. I think there's a few things adding up. I don't know, I can't quite put my finger on it. Got a funny feeling we're going to have a stealth killer here, and there he is. He is. Yeah, you go after that, Meg. Oh shit. I'm just legging it here as fast as I can. Stop it, Michael. Stop it. Oh, he's lost me. He has got... Oh, there he is. Let's get rid of this. He's going to come around the corner here and grab me, isn't he? Hardscope Lord, how are you doing? I can do some killer games. I'm just really rusty at the moment with killer, so I'm like... Did I get the right one? Oh no, what was that I broke? I'm dying, maybe? But yeah, I'll play a killer game after this. I'm presuming the stream will probably be late for the question and answers. Oh, hello. He has got monitor abuse as well. Oh, Michael, don't stop. Oh, he's... Shit. He must be close to his tier 3. Stop it, Michael. Stop it. He's going to go up there. Oh, I'm just giving them all the free stock. Right, who's working on a generator? There's the one out here. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Hard scope load. I've been quite erratic myself with the streams and the video upload, so I'm just trying to get back into the gist of things. But glad to see you on anyway. I've got a funny feeling this Michael has unlimited tier 3. It's taken him a while to tier up and he got loads of stock from me. So I can see... Not being such a surprise, let's say. That must be ruined done, is it? Yeah. How are you doing, Hardscope Lord? Are you good? With me not playing the game for a while, I had about... Sorry, I'm trying to see where this little bastard's going. I had about 6 weeks of not playing the game. I had a quick go in the PTV when Pinhead got released and that was about it. So I don't think my MMR's high at all, but when I play a Freddy, they are tough games, extremely tough games. And I just got a bit sick. I was just like, it's the same old, same old. I am enjoying Pinhead, but yeah, the games are getting pretty tough. But I also think as well, because I haven't played for such a long time as well, I'm naturally... Oh, here we go. This is going to be unlimited tier 3. Get this popped. So out of position if you could... Oh. He's not going to bring her here, surely not. Oh, he is. He is. Oh, unlucky Michael. Oh shit. I'm definitely getting killed for that, aren't I? Horrible pattern there. Oh, that was bad. Yeah. What's he gonna do? He's gonna slug me as well, yeah. This could be the same guy. The same guy's taking advantage of unlimited tier 3. I missed where the gates were as well, actually. How are you finding the killer games, Hardscope? Thank you very much. Right, where's this gate at? Ah, it's over here by the looks of it. I don't understand why I didn't hook us. I understand why I didn't hook her, obviously. I saboed the hook. But I don't understand why I didn't hook Fuck me, that's the way he's going to generate pressure. They don't know what to do here. Are the others in trouble, do you think? Let's just get it open. Go on, you open it. Just get out of here. Oh, he's just killed someone. Oh. Did he have a tuft of hair, is it? Alright, I'm getting out of here. Yeah, let's get out of here. What is build? Ruin, play with your food, bamboozle, undying, yeah. Tuft of hair, and the unlimited tier 3. Cost them in the end, because it took so long to get the tier 3. Never mind. Right, I'll have a kill again, men, and then, as I say, we'll go out and check the stream. Yeah, that's... I feel the same about the boredom of the game. I mean, I don't mind the tough games. I really don't, but you're right in what you're saying. It was just constantly the same build you were playing, the same sort of survivors. It just got a bit tiresome. So yeah, I hear you on that one. I'll put a Freddy game on now. I'll put a strong build on it, and let's just see how we get on. But you'll see now, the game's going to be tough. It has been with all the games. As I say, he was always my main. Use both Iris. That reason you get to block for 15 seconds and all survivors start. Alright, let's do it. Let's go for it. I don't have got any let's do that. See if we can get some points. So all survivors are going to start off in the dream world. Fail skill check's not going to work. That's surviving you. That survivor's like, I'm playing a Freddy here with 2 Iri add-ons. Oh, for Pinhead. What do the 2 Iris do for Pinhead? Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, Hardscope. That's exactly what I've been. The same situation that I'm in at the moment. I want to improve with the killers. I don't mind the tough games. Really, really don't. But when it's the same thing over and over, it's starting to get a bit tedious, let's say. And when skill-based matchmaking first came out, I actually put Freddy on with a meme build, you know, and I was just like, I mean, this build I'm putting on is so powerful. But I've needed to have it on, as I say, especially when I'm not playing for quite a while. We'll see what this game brings. Got blood points, so that's good. Ton of pressure, yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. As I say, last game I played, I think there was 4 escapes. Wasn't actually a bad game, but I probably could have done better. But it just got on my nerves a bit, and then I switched over to other killers. That's a good side of MMRs, that when you are practicing other killers, you can spot the difference between the players you're playing with your main and when you're playing with a new killer. So I suppose that's working from a positive point of view. Tinkerer, Pop and Freddy, yeah, it's unbelievably insane. But you have to get the downs. You have to get the downs to benefit from it. So for good loopers, then... There we go, first survivor. There's this guy here. Oh, please drop. Oh, he's not going to drop. Shack pallet, he's going the other way. Oh, interesting. I should get it out. Oh, you little... Got him in the end, got him in the end. That was a good dead ad, that. There's a flashlight as well somewhere, so I'll have to be careful of that. Right. Got thrilling, so they're over here. I'm going to do this one. Ah, he's going for the rescue. Where's the other player gone? Was that the one that I'd seen initially? Okay, I'm going to get a free hit on this one if I can get round. Yeah, he's teabagging. I'll leave him. He's clearly got decisive or borrowed time. I've got to go to it. Got to go. Oh, I haven't got Tinkerer thrilling either. Oh, right, I've messed up a bit here. I can't pick her up. There's a survivor around here somewhere. We'll just do this. Come on, where have you gone to? Oh, I see you. I see you. Just put the pallet down. Just put the pallet down, guys. Oh, I messed up with that flashlight. Dead ad though. He's probably got dead ad, I should imagine. I'm gonna lose that gen there, yep. He's gone the other way. That gen's gonna pop. Oh, you're kidding me. So this chase is going to cost me 2 gens. I should have really kept on going for the bill here, but I needed the down. I needed the down there. Still got a shack pallet. Bill's healed. Oh. Alright, I didn't expect to get Bill, but never mind. Where you going, Bill? I need to get that down. Look, he's got pallets again. Now that's a mistake by him. Because... Oh, he still makes it. Oh, I got robbed off that hit there. Got really robbed. Lost him completely. Oh, there he is. Right. See what I mean about the movement and... I need to block this gen. Ah, you little shit. Right, plan B. He's gone into the pallet, of course he has. And there's the guy there. So it's a bit annoying, the games, let's say. That'll do. Right, get thrilling going. Have I got basement here? Yes, I have. There's no other gens being worked on, so... Alright, we'll take that as a plus. How many gens are left? 2. Oh, okay. Right, this is where I get to use pop. Don't lose pop, don't lose pop. Got to get it here. I mean, they're putting all the pallets down straight away and I'm getting them broke, but the damage is done at this point. Here's another pallet here. Where did he go? I just lost him completely. Another pallet, I'm guessing. I got robbed off that hit. Oh shit. That was a good play by her, actually. Total misread by me, but... see what I mean about movement, guys? Let's go bother them. Until I get the down, the build is not going to give me any pressure whatsoever. There's the other tinkerer going off, so it's game over, really. 2 hooks. Shit. She's gone back on there. Let's get a hit on her. I'm gonna guess there's another pallet here. Window, she makes this. Oh, that was greedy from her. She's got dead hard though, hasn't she? Must have. Look at that teleport there. You see that teleport onto the thing? Ridiculous. Pallet? Of course she has. Tinkerer. So yeah, so it's quite an interesting game. I'm going to lose a gen, but I'm going to get her down. Oh, another pallet. Oh no, it's not. Look at her, she's just teleporting across the floor. Right. Yeah, pallet after pallet after pallet. I mean, it's just... that gate's being done. They're going to come over, borrowed time, save. You know what? I'm not even going to entertain this. Let's just go get a hit on someone. Let them get out. They deserved it. They could put pallets down like there's no tomorrow. They go after Bill. Yes, Bill. Yes, Bill. Yes, Bill. We'll get him put on here. Yeah, Pinhead. Yeah, I haven't played against Pinhead much either. Javeler. Hope I'm pronouncing them right. Right, what to do now? As I say, I'm not gonna try to secure the kill. Let's just go after someone. And this is the guy that was teabagging me, wasn't it? Why do I keep losing him? There he goes. There they go. The door will be opened. And that's it. Game over. Pallet. Yes, of course. He'll open the gate for it. And that's it. Game, set and match. Oh, I'm surprised she's ran that way. Of course, she's got another pallet. And she escapes. A hit on him. Where'd she go? Oh, yeah. Oh, got her. Why didn't she go out? I don't know what happened to her there. But the other guys are still in as well. How did he get up there? He just literally teleported. Did I just watch him get out the gate? Interesting. Oh, what did I do that for? Of course there's a pallet there. Right. I think he's got dead eye, hasn't he? Get the hit, it's fine. Right. We'll try to cut him off. Yeah. Oh, pallet. That's a surprise. They're all around me. He gets out here, yeah, he gets out. Look at this. What a group. Got bloodlust. Can I get the room? Can I get the room? Ah, well done. Well done. No, that pallet shouldn't have hit me. Definitely shouldn't have hit me. As I say, it's a bit of a weird game, but hey up. What did they have? Adrenaline. There weren't nothing special. I mean, they were just going to the right loops at the right time. I don't actually think they were survivor friends either. Kindred, not really a survivor friend, Perk. Alex, how are you doing? Yes. Glad to see you're on here. It was hard to watch, yeah. It was hard to play as well. And that's what I mean about playing the Freddy games. Now, if this is a game I'm going to get all the time with Freddy, like I said, I mean, I'm not going to Did I make mistakes in that game? Yeah, of course I did. You know, I didn't play it perfectly. However, on the other hand as well, you know, every time, how many pallets spawned on that map? It is going to be a watch party. Has the stream started for DBD? Let me just quickly check, guys. I'll be 2 seconds. Yeah, okay, I'll get straight on that. Yeah, the amount of pallets, that's what won them the game, really. I mean, even at the end, I thought I was eating through a lot of pallets there. Even at the end, they still had 2 spare pallets I could use. Right, bear with me 1 second, guys. Let's just see where this stream is. Ah, it has started. Right. Okay, let me just, oops, go off there. We'll go on to Twitch.
FIFA 22 with
got an advert, of course.
Where as a survivor, you're going to escape from about half the games that you play alive, however you got there. And as killers, it gets a little more complicated. I don't like saying you're going to kill about half the people in the match, because that's not actually how the math works. Killer math gets a lot more complicated. Again, I promised I wouldn't talk too much about math. So yeah, that's the intention there, is that survivors should each escape about half the games that they play. Killers average to killing about 2 survivors a match, but that's not really how it works. I probably have some notes in here that I'll talk about later on that topic.
Interesting.
But we were talking about exceptions, weren't we?
Yes,
we had
exactly.
Man, this is the long road to exception. So survivors, if they escape a match alive, that is a win for the survivor. The one exception to that is escaping through the hatch. We've done a lot of analysis of stats, looking at math, all kinds of things, and there's just
so they basically
no
said
statistical correlation.
Survivors should have at least 2 survivors escaping. Killers should get about 2 kills.
A survivor escapes through hatch. So what we have done with the hatches is they return a null.
Yeah, McLean was a good guy, wasn't
he? The system just kind of looks at a hatch escape and it shrugs and it moves on with its day. So what this means in practice, just to give you guys some clarity on this, is if you're the last survivor alive in a match, if you die, that still counts as a loss. So you're going to lose MMR score from that. If you jump out through the hatch, the game goes, hey, you didn't win, you didn't lose, so it just doesn't adjust your score at all. So it's actually a net gain for you as the survivor. And the inverse is also true for the killer. If the killer kills you, he gets the win, and if you escape through the hatch, he gets nothing out of it. But we found this was the best compromise to make for a system like hatches, because yeah, there's no way to predict what's going to happen once the hatch opens. It really is kind of a coin toss, statistically.
I'll see, Alex.
So
I'll see.
Sort of coin toss.
I'm still working on fixing things with the stream itself, and
because it will stop.
Definitely want to do another podcast. Yeah,
right.
Definitely want to do that.
Something really important to note here as well is that, while the hidden rating, in some capacity does determine how skilled you are, but at the end of the day, it's more so about, those losses, or like having you win half those matches. And
don't they? I've never seen these guys before, I don't think.
Or I guess correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick, but
it's like matchmaking is hard, and trying to decide what makes a game balanced and fair is really difficult. The assumption, and something that I truly believe, is that if you can make a balanced match where everyone is about the same level of skill, that's how you make the most fun. Right? It's not fun stomping your opponents all day, every day.
I agree with that.
As much fun
it's
as
not
to
fun.
Have the occasional stomp. If you were a killer and you were 4K'ing literally every game you played, it would get dull. There's no excitement. There's no risk. And likewise, as on the other side of it, if you're a survivor who dies every single game they play, that's going to get old, right? So the intention here is to make something where you're escaping sometimes, but other times you're not. You can't win them all, right? So, and that's kind of where the fun factor comes in. That's where that anticipation of what's this game going to be like? Am I going to be able to pull off a stomp? Am I going to get stomped? Is it going to be close?
What do you think about that comment, guys? So I sort of agree with what he's saying.
I
Is
think there was one more exception
yes,
that we did want
you
to
know, you
get
don't want to
into
stomp
in
every
terms
team
of
you come
the,
across.
what it constitutes a win, right, Patrick?
Yeah,
But
this is where the fancy math comes in.
you
So
also
I'm
don't
gonna
want to get
try-
beat every
I
match
tried
as well,
really
do
hard
you?
not to bring out any specific numbers about this. So the other exception about,
Yeah,
other
definitely
thing about
hard
how wins
scope
and
loads.
losses works is,
You know, if you're
and
going
this
to
has
stomp
do
all the
with
survivors,
how,
it does
oh
get
God,
boring.
there's so many maths that are running through my head, and I'm trying not to talk about them all. This has to do with the likelihood of people escaping matches in certain scenarios. So here's the thing. This is why I was talking about killer math gets weird. Is once the first survivor in a match dies, the odds of any of other survivors escaping alive goes down. It makes sense, right? You've played this game before, you know. As soon as that first survivor is done, you're like, oh man, fewer people to fix gens, fewer people to distract the killer, it goes down. So, and this continues. Once the second survivor is dead, those last two, woof, not looking too good for them. And when the third goes down, then you've got the hatch escape scenario, which we already kind of covered and talked about. So what we've done,
Yeah,
as
I agree,
another,
Si.
adjustment
Obviously,
to the DBD
if you're
system of
swiffing,
MMR is
then you're on easy mode, aren't you, really?
weight or scale how much of that score adjustment happens at the end of a match based off of the order that survivors die. So the first survivor who dies gets the full adjustment that the algorithm says they should get, blah, 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 fancy maths. The second survivor who dies doesn't get the full adjustment, gets it slightly smaller. And it's actually proportional to how much the odds are impacted of them escaping the game alive. Again, lots of fun math that we've done. Same thing for the third, and even same thing for the fourth. And we've found that, like, while this sounds unfair on a case-by-case basis, you have to remember, I'm not thinking about just one game, right? We're thinking about every game that you play. We're thinking about your entire history of DBD matches, and these things balance out to have the best approximation of your skill possible before getting you back into the next match.
Right. All right, so we do have two more questions on the topic of skill-based matchmaking, and there have been some rumors asking about whether or not it is true that ratings are capped. Can you speak to that, Patrick?
Oh, good question.
The straight answer is no. The ratings are not capped. We let your number go as high or as low as you want. Just to give, like, one of the few times they'll give numbers. Typically, MMR systems and in DBD, the numbers tend to range between like an MMR score of 500 up to, I think we've got a few people who are pushing into the 3000s area. So it's nice big like gradient of player skill there. But no, we don't cap. The number can go as high as you want. The exception to that rule, I'm going to make a liar out of myself immediately, is that we, in terms of how the game matchmaking service finds you a match, there are some soft caps on that. During one of our recent MMR tests that we did on live, right? You guys remember we did a few of those over the last year. In one of those, we found a couple cases of a few players whose MMRs were so insanely high that the game couldn't find anyone to play for them to play. We matchmake within a range. We don't let people too high or too low below your MMR.
I will jump on and talk about this, guys. I'm just listening to this part at the moment,
that we know are going to be unfair.
So I haven't gone missing.
But what this meant was these players, their MMR was just so high that the system said, "Ah, there's nobody else in your league," and so they were waiting for literal hours in the queue and never finding games. Yeah, big sad face right there.
Big sad.
Yeah, not what I want. So what we do is we take that number that's too high or too low. It actually also happens at the low end. We do this, and we, for the purposes of finding a match, we round it down. So while your MMR may still be 3,000, we round it down to the cap. Which, don't quote me on this, I think it's the high end cap is like 1,900 or 2,000 or something in that realm. So we round you down to that, and then we find you matches based off of that. Just in case anybody is panicking
so
about
it is
this,
capped
this
then.
is actually a dynamic number that we adjust on a fairly regular basis. We've already adjusted them a couple times, and we can continue to adjust them based off of what the population looks like, how players are performing, where they are, blah, 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 blah. So that's really just a fallback so that people who are really highly ranked and people who are really low ranked can still find games instead of getting stuck in limbo.
Exactly. All right, and as a too long didn't read, because of course we still have, I'm not kidding you guys, 18 pages of questions to go.
Sure, right.
Do you have any closing thoughts in a too long didn't read fashion on skill-based matchmaking as a whole?
Yes, it is statistically making better matches than ranks ever did. We're seeing much more balance in the game, and the amount of granularity and information that we can get out of this is really powerful and is opening up a whole new realm of balancing and tuning and data analysis for this game. There's a lot of stuff that's already in the pipe that's going to be based off of MMR in terms of the design process that's going to help us find the right things to
Yeah,
buff
it does
and the right
say,
things
yeah,
to
yeah.
nerf
But it's
because
still
of
capped.
how
It's
the system and the maths work under the hood.
Exactly. Well, there you go. If you guys, I see you guys still have plenty of questions in the chat, but feel free to keep them going, and we'll likely do another Q&A in the near future where maybe we can answer a few more of those questions.
We'll have another Pat MMR TED Talk.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
Thank you
what?
for coming to my TED Talk.
Thank you for coming to the TED Talk. Yeah, so we're gonna move into some.
So what do you think, guys? What do you think about what they said there? I will go back onto the live stream, but that's interesting. They said it wasn't capped, and they said the sort of like size put on there. It is capped, but interesting they're saying that the games are more balanced now than what they've ever been.
But overall,
But we'll listen to a
these
bit
are
more, see what the next sort of questions they come out with.
The rest still need to be validated. So please stay tuned to the patch notes for the full list of changes. But
Oh,
here are a
some
couple that you
changes
guys
from the
can probably get very
PTB.
excited about. So overall, the Boone Totem range will be decreased, and they will no longer stack. And something really important to note here is that the time to bless these totems has been increased when you are blessing a hex totem, so a totem that already has a hex applied to it.
This was always going to happen.
As well is that Hex Blood Favor will, I guess, not be doing as many favors for the Trickster, as it's going to be triggering on damaged states and will now be based on the survivor's position rather than the killer's. So those are a couple of the main ones. I don't know if Patrick or Justin, you wanted to make a comment on any of these specific
So big
items.
news on that. The Boone Totems, they have changed them.
But yeah.
I'd say that just to give some designer insight into this, Boone Totems were a little bit stronger than we intended for them to be on the PTB, but hey, that's part of why we have these PTBs, to see how people play with them. The removal of stacking is going to get rid of some of the really silly, overpowered moments with them. The change to the how long it takes to bless a Hex Totem specifically, the intention here is to have a little bit of a dilemma for the player to think, do I want to cleanse this Hex Totem because I can do that quickly, but it gets rid of it forever and I can't use my boon, or do I want to spend 24 seconds blessing this totem, which is quite a long time.
24 seconds is a long time, yeah.
Quick payoff versus a longer time for potentially a bigger payoff on the other side. And yeah, we just reduced the range on them a little bit, but again, I'm the math head around here, and I'll point out that because of how areas of circles work, pay attention high school math kids, that is actually an effective reduction in area of effect of about 25%. I'm rounding a little bit to keep things easy. But yeah, that's about a 25% reduction of area. So that's what we're going to do with those, and we're going to keep looking at them as time goes forward. More tuning may happen in the future.
Yeah. All right, so I do see a lot of comments about the Pinhead voice line, so we're just going to address that very quickly.
Oh, come on. When's it coming back in? Pinhead voice line. Come on, guys. Give us some good news.
So many of you have been asking about the Pinhead voice lines. Unfortunately, we don't have any news for you on this front besides what was announced in the patch notes earlier. If we do have any news, we will share it with you, but there is nothing for us to comment on that front. Hopefully, I know it's maybe not the most satisfying answer, but at least it is somewhat of an answer. With that, though, it is time for me to butcher a bunch of usernames and throw in an honorary dad joke or two. We have 58 total questions across 18 pages. So that's it. If we don't manage to get through all of them right now with our lovely guests, Justin and Patrick, we will be posting the remaining questions.
Yeah, Hardscope, someone said before they think it might be a licensing issue.
To begin, Gibran, say why ID.
Are there plans for the Legion? Yes, Legion is being left behind, guys. Come on.
Are there any plans for Legion, add-on pass, or otherwise?
Yeah, Legion is actually on our shortlist right now of killers to look at in general. But nothing to announce for when that's coming. We're just looking at them. We're in the early stages of figuring out what we want to
Legion
do.
needs
So
some
you'll
love.
hear more
He
about
does.
that when the time comes.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll be legendary. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's a terrible joke.
From,
Death by giggles. That was terrible.
I know, I'm sorry. Um, from Jordan Kaser, can we expect more emotes to be coming into Dead by Daylight?
Right. So I think Pat and I are just basically alternating some of these questions. So just for this one, I'll take it. So emotes are something that's actually come up, from time to time on the team.
Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Pig
Really
buff.
ticks all the boxes for what we actually want. Just because Dead by
Pig
Daylight is such
buff?
a game where information
Has
is
she
really
not
key,
had a couple of buffs
and
to
we have a
her
certain tone they're also trying to stick
add-ons,
to, so
hasn't she? But
whenever we do,
nothing
you're not
as
gonna see any
yet.
flossing. I think we have several times in the notes here, no flossing. I repeat, no flossing.
Please, no flossing.
No flossing whatsoever. And there's also some concerns of survivors using it as communication tools that might be more unfair against the killer. So it's all something that we're looking into and keeping in mind for the future, but we've just not found a way that really has us all satisfied with like a big green check mark of
The
good to go.
joke was legendary.
Yeah, and provides no flossing, so.
Yeah.
Right.
I laughed as much as I did the first time. Hard scope.
Alright, from iNewell99, why do killers only get to use hexes once, but survivors can re-bless as much as they want? It's a spicy question.
It is a good question.
Spicy question with a decent answer. Actually, it's something we talked about
Go on then.
the team. So, just before this gets like quoted out of context and people rage at me harder than they already are in the chat. Remember, we've already announced some Boone Totem nerfs, right? Earlier in the stream. So boons are intended for survivors to just have a small area of the map where they can have a buff that fits into a support mentality.
I agree
They're
with
not
this
supposed to be
part.
things that adjust the core mechanics of the game. One of our rules when we've been developing these perks has been sort of set on the team has been, we're not buffing gen repair speed with Boone Totems, right? That's something that we generally consider to be off the table. Unless something changes in the future and we have some lightning bolt idea, that's the idea. Is the boons aren't supposed to be something that changes the core game flow in a fundamental way. Hex perks aren't like that. Hex perks absolutely mess with the core flow of a match. They're really, really strong. They're very impactful. They apply generally universally. There's no range limit on them. So it's kind of part of the difference between these two is we're trying to reinforce with how the survivors play with totems in a different way with the boons than the killers do with the hexes. The other thing that's worth remembering, though, the one shared note between these two is times that survivors spend mucking about with totems is time that they're not mucking about with generators, right? You can muck about with as many totems as you want. That doesn't open the gate. So that's one of the main.
This guy is.
To summarize this whole thing up,
he's watching my video because this is exactly what I said in the video. I know it wasn't a popular opinion, but yeah, you can't compare the Boone Totems with the Hex Totems because they're completely different. The Hex affects the whole map, but the Boone is only affecting a small part of it. And the time taken, I showed you an example on there about the time taken for to bless them, and if that's going up, then but they have to also make it strong as well if people like to use it. So it's a fine balancing act.
Alright, from Baby of the Week, will we ever get a Trickster style map? Loved the Trickster lobby, and I concur. I loved it.
Yeah, I think honestly all of us internally love the hell out of that thing. But it's something we've answered before. There's no plans for making a Trickster theme level at the moment, but it's something that I think if we had a chance to do in the future, we would. So like we're not ruling it out, but it's there's other opportunities, and we want to explore some other maps where they are. And it's there's lots of choices. We'll see.
Yeah, very exciting. I do want to note that there are some questions about cross progression. We do have an answer for that later on.
Oh,
so please stay tuned.
Interesting.
We're
cross progression.
We're getting through the questions.
A lot of these. Yeah.
We have a lot of questions. All right, from Conmardo06. Seeing as you've released a very large patch this mid-chapter, much of the community is pleased by what you've come up with. Will there be plans to maintain similar large patches that bounce out a lot of things at once, like this one?
I do not think my mental
Will it ever
health
be
could
Freddy
sustain
Cosmetics?
that level of
That's a good
giant
question.
patches,
That
but,
players. I mean,
What if
I
it's a
understand.
pumpkin
is there ever
patch?
going to be
If it's a pumpkin patch, it can be as big as you want.
Amazing.
Those are great.
Freddy
to my mental
Cosmetics? I
health,
think
very
it's a
sweet.
tricky one because it's
No,
licensed. So
to actually answer instead of being sassy for a change, this mid
I
chapter
wonder,
patch
Si,
is
if
kind
someone
of a bit
does
of a
ask him
perfect
about
storm,
that,
in terms of patches. It
that'd
just
be
happened
interesting.
that a whole bunch of changes that we've been working on various timelines, some had even been pushed back, stuff like that. We've shuffled things around, and they all just focus together on this exact patch that we've done. So that's part of why it's so big. That said, part of the live design philosophy that we're trying to push for on Dead by Daylight is to get away from the mentality we've had with mid-chapter patches and live balance patches in the past, where we've sort of laser focused on 1 or 2 killers and really done a lot of adjustment there, and maybe changed 2 or 3 perks, and then that's all it is. We're trying to take that same amount of effort and
Yeah, you're right,
spread it
Alex. I
out
didn't bring
and spread
out.
the love.
I
So
forgot about
wanna
the
get
other
to the point
two:
where we have
Blight,
a
Twins, and
lot more killers
Trickster.
getting touched, but not to the degree of overhauls. Just, oh yeah, we changed a couple add-ons here. Oh, we changed a couple add-ons there. A couple numbers here and there. So we still want to get more changes out, generally speaking. So think, yeah, the amount of changes we have for 1 or 2 characters spread across more like 4 or 5, and I think you get the idea. That said, character overhauls aren't out of the question. It's not like I'm saying we're never going to do that again. We just need to be able to justify them, and we have to have a good enough reason to go in and to do something like that.
Right. All right. From Pixelbush YT, how do you choose which characters get stories in the archives?
This one's actually pretty fun because trying to pick characters for the archives is always a puzzle. Because what we
I'm
try
just
to
going to
do
get
is
a
really
drink,
get
guys,
good
while this
mix of
question is a
characters
bit of a
that
boring
everyone can
question.
actually
So I'm just going to
enjoy
go
it.
quick drink.
And
I'll
that
be
really
2
means
seconds.
we're trying to ensure we have some popular characters mixed in with some free characters, because more people who actually play these a lot, but also make sure even if you just bought the game, you're going to be able to play through the tome and actually able to experience the stories. But we're also trying to balance these out with new outfits for the stores, so that we have minimal overlap. So within every 3-month period, starting from a chapter or a mid-chapter, each character might get 1 new outfit. It's happened in the past where we do have some of that overlap, and it's a bit unfortunate because we want, no matter which character is your main, we want to try to get you guys some outfits out there. And with all that being said, for the characters that we actually tell the stories for, which right now we always have 2 plus the Observer, we're trying to come up with something in our upcoming release that's actually going to be a little different and interesting. In general, we want characters that have stories that can actually fit together thematically. So that's in terms of background or how we want to explore their story. So I think you guys can expect again, I don't think we said when the mid-chapter is coming.
I think it might have been mentioned, but just in case, I'm not gonna. Just in case.
Exactly. Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
I'm not gonna be the one that pulls that trigger or pushes that button. But expect something interesting. I think you guys are going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Hopefully, any of these character discussions didn't cause a rift in the team. Haha. And I'm kidding. Right.
So forced.
I think the next person is Osno. Osnoey. I'm very sorry. Do you think you'll add any modes besides the 1v4 we have right now?
Yeah, so I can be straight with all you guys. We're not spending any time right now thinking about X versus Y game mode changes. So don't expect a 2 versus 8 or 3 versus 100 or anything like that. We are, however, always looking at ways to modify Dead by Daylight and potentially alternate ways of playing it that would be fun and interesting and also doable, but it's right now way too early for me to get into the details of anything like that. I wouldn't expect it anytime soon, but once we have something, I guarantee we will be talking about it.
Alrighty. We do have a very specific question from our streamers, actually. So from LilyPie101, will my Claudette ever get a Twitch shirt or a Greek Collection shirt?
So this is actually easier to answer the Greek Collection part just first, get it out of the way. It's not decided yet which next characters are going to get this, because I think we do our Greek Collection early summer each year. So next year, who's to say? But in terms of anything like the Twitch shirts, this is something that I know has been interesting for quite a while. I know people have been asking because right now we have Twitch shirts given to select streamers, but these are only currently available for Meg and for Dwight.
Mhm.
And I mean, you can clearly see, like, by all the characters we try to include in DBD, representation is very important for us. We want to make sure, no matter who you are, you feel like you are included. So we are trying to stick to our commitment of diversity and actually extending these Twitch shirts to not just Claudette, but all original survivors. And we're also committing to making these for all upcoming original survivors as well. So whichever ones release in upcoming chapters or however they may be, they will all have some available Twitch shirts, so that if you identify with one of these characters or just want to play as them, and are as one of these select streamers, then you go ahead, rep your Twitch on your character and have fun.
Amazing. I do see some comments also about non-binary or LGBTQIA plus characters. We do have a blog post live from June from our Pride Month blog post that has a little bit more information about that as well. So please feel free to look at that. But now, as a great segue from shirts to other shirts, or rather shirtless things, we have one of the most upvoted questions we actually received from good old Honey Bear. The important question is, shirtless Felix, when? When is it happening, guys?
No, but yes.
Yes. No.
But maybe.
No. Yeah. What?
Stay tuned.
Stay thirsty, my friend, is all we will say.
Yep, stay thirsty.
I'm back, guys.
Stay excited. We will.
Shirtless
we will
Felix,
never
I
give
came
up
back to the
dream.
right question, didn't
All
I?
right. From Emil, do we really need the prestige system in Dead by Daylight? Another nice, spicy question.
Yeah. So, prestiging as it is right now in Dead by Daylight, I don't think it's terribly fun or rewarding. I'm not saying it's awful. I think it could be better. But prestiging with the new design that we're working on, that's a lot more rewarding and fun. But you're gonna have to wait until we're closer to that one being ready. But I don't know, Justin. I think you and I were actually talking earlier today about how excited we both are about that design.
We're talking a little often about this.
Yeah. This one we're getting pretty jazzed about.
For the record, I
So
don't see the
I'm
point of
excited to share more
prestige
details
whatsoever.
with folks about it,
I don't
but
think the reward for it is
not
really
on
good
this.
enough. So
Yeah, soon.
Just my
TM
thoughts on
at
it.
some point. For those of you also asking where these questions came from, by the way, these were the most upvoted or liked questions on our social media page and on the forums. So these were questions selected from you guys by you guys. All right. From Angelicus23, are there any plans to reduce the grind? I know that's a very hot topic as well.
Yeah, I know. I know that the grind is bad. The design team knows. We talk about it quite a bit. We have some plans to address this. Prestigious system. Something in my throat. I don't know.
I'll
But,
take some blood points.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, some blood points in my lungs. The old smoker's cough. Got some blood points there. Ew. Anyway, but yeah, nothing to talk about yet on that. But soon, TM.
Soon TM. I also see some questions about endgame chat on console. We have an answer to that in a little bit. But next up, we have Punk by the Book 88. Will you consider doing more video game licenses in the future?
It's gonna be a boring answer, but absolutely.
I think we're all huge nerds. We'd love it.
Honestly, I'm elaborating on I think what I had in the notes, but we're huge horror fans. It's it all comes down to what opportunities come up to us. So we'll see.
the grind for the blood point size. So
Alright, so from
at the minute, it's quite ridiculous. If you're trying to get
3135790,
certain perks
wow, I
on
didn't
players,
picture
it's
that.
just
Alright, will
ridiculous,
there ever be
especially
a
with the
bot
3
mode where we can
tiers
practice?
on each.
But I think after we had the bots
add-on.
introduced in the tutorial matches, we were really happy to actually see how well these were all received by players. So much that you guys were actually asking about this. But I think we'll have to leave this one at we're currently looking into how we can reuse bots outside of the tutorial.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know with a lot of these questions, I feel like it's like, hey, we'll, soon TM, we'll have more info later. But, I think it's also
just in
important for you
regards
guys
to the
understand that,
tiers, I
we
think.
don't
So,
wanna
you might get
overpromise
Monstrous
something
Shrine,
and
a
then
terrible
keep
pack, but you might
delaying
get
it.
that
I
on
think
tier
that,
1 and the
we
next
have a lot
Blood
of these things on
Web
our mind. I wanna
tier
say
2, then
usually,
tier 3.
and,
So
the team
if
is
you do
very
that, I
aware of
think
your
the
feedback,
amount of
but
perks that
it
they've
does
now
take
got
time. Things
um,
take time.
it
All right,
can take
so
quite a
from
lot of
the
blood
King
points
Switch,
to get
we
it.
have, will Boone Totems and Scourged Hooks be the new age of perks to come into the game? Sort of like how hexes set the tone for chapters to come.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely expect to see more Boon perks in the future, and even some more Scourge Hook related perks in the future. What are they going to do? I don't know. I actually don't even have an idea. We have a list of a whole bunch of different ideas, and we're arguing about which ones we want to do next. But we got to find the right time, the right place for them. But we're really excited because both Boon Totems and the Scourge Hooks open up a whole new design space for us to work with. So I don't want to get to the point where
Yes, Alex,
every chapter has
VHS.
6 new Boon perks
I think
yet,
it's just
but you can definitely expect
going
to
up and
see
down. I think
several
it'll
of those
shoot in
coming
popularity when it gets released on beta anyway.
Bless you to the sneezing ghost, by the way. From Evasion, can linked cosmetics be more flexible?
So I think as soon as people knew we had a Q&A coming up, I saw that this was a little bit of a hot topic. So I'm glad we have a chance to answer this. We're actually looking into ways to make non-licensed sets more accessible for mix and match. So as just like a little bit of context, sometimes we create these because there's a great idea where a piece of an outfit might clip when it's mixed with something else, and clipping is when a piece of a shirt or something goes into maybe like another piece of the mesh, like it cuts through the arm or something like this. And sometimes we'll have bugs for outfit pieces that do this, but in general we do our best to avoid it. That being said, like we know there are some pieces of outfits like killer weapons on original characters that players would like to mix. But licensed sets, however, will always be locked due to licensor agreements. There's some things you can only get in the game because of this. But I think just to recap, we're currently looking into ways to unlink some of these case by case situation.
All right, sounds good. As mentioned, I'm sure this will lead to some spicy discussion in the chat. From many people, I don't nearly have enough time to read out all those usernames.
They're going to have an update on this, so
can we get an update on cross progression specifically for Switch? But some are also asking about other platforms.
We can. Firstly, I entirely thought many people was the tag, the username, like a fool.
That's a good name. Yeah, I'm changing my username to
Hardscope,
from many
always
people.
the same.
Yeah, why not?
Always the same.
So on this, we can't share much right now, other than we're actively working on the details for the Switch cross progression with our partners. It's a big process, is all I can really say as to why it's taking so long. We know there are a lot of active Switch players out there and players who would like to alternate between Switch and another device. I mean, a lot of us are Switch players here. Like I absolutely want to be able to switch. I can't really avoid it saying the word between one or another. So I'm as eagerly anticipating it as you. But we have nothing really concrete.
What about
to
all
share
the other
beyond
platforms?
That.
There's some pros and cons and Joy-Cons to all of it, I'm sure. I know some have also been asking about other platforms, but I believe at this point in time we have nothing to announce for anything related to that. But Switch cross progression is still something that I believe the team is still very much working on. So just to reinforce that, we try and answer as many questions about it as possible, and we know the wait has been a long time coming. But thank you for your patience. All right, from Tataru.
Extremely, yeah.
Tataru?
Oh, it's Tat.
It's Tataru.
Tataru.
Can we get any hints?
Tataru before. Come on.
Can we get any hints about which killers you're looking into next? I believe this is specifically in terms of live balance.
Yeah, for live balance, we've actually internally on the design team been taking a little bit of a break from our usual focus on killers. Crazy
Tat
talk,
will be looking at
some
Legion,
survivor
guaranteed.
improvements, so you can expect to probably see those coming down the pipe. Soon TM. I assume TM is our default timeline. But yeah, so we've been looking at some Survivor stuff, so Survivors are going to get some love in the near future. But in terms of killers, actual killer stuff, we've got a short list of a few different killers we want to look at, but I think the next two big ones that we've been talking about the most are Legion, as I mentioned earlier in the stream.
Tat will be happy about that.
Ghostface. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about Ghostface, and it's starting to feel like it's his time to get a little bit of love.
Alrighty. From Adamo, it's either Adamos Kairos or something along those lines. Again, I know
Get these names on hard mode.
I know, it gets worse because there's the regional folks at the end.
I've never heard that before in my life.
Alright, have you considered some sort of recycle system?
Just while they're asking this question, players, obviously you're putting a lot of
So this
questions
is
in the
actually
chat,
something
but
that
I
we've
think
been
they've already had the
thinking
questions
about on the game team. No plans to implement,
posted.
but because
So, but if you
as
do have
game
questions
content
you want to
does
ask
keep
them, I
on
think
growing
you'll
and growing,
have
like,
to go
yeah,
onto the
we are
Twitch
aware certainly
directly
that
and
there's a lot
ask
of
in the chat.
items
Um,
that's piling up in everyone's
But
inventory.
because
So
you've
it's,
got some good questions
yeah,
there,
there's nothing concrete
but
to
they're
share,
not going to
but,
see them just
it's
on
something
this
that we
chat
have been
alone.
thinking about.
I think they need to see it on their
And
Twitch
just remember to reduce, reuse, and recycle, kids.
forum.
I'm sorry, that joke was rubbish. Double pun. Listen. It's just part of my job recommendations or requirements.
Her jokes are terrible, by the way.
It's your own joke with a joke.
From
She's
Dwight
trying hard.
Fairfield, are there any plans to buff the shape?
We don't have anything immediate in the pipe about.
Huh.
I know you're not the only one who can pull it off. Yeah, but we don't have anything planned for the shape right now. That's not saying that we're not thinking about him or not looking at him. He's just not one of the next killers on the list. Like I said, we had Legion and Ghostface are sort of the next two that I really want to focus on. Will the shape be after that? I don't know. See what we see.
The
when we get
shape
there.
does need.
All right.
Michael Myers does
From
need
Not
some
Lonely,
rework
and
as well.
I hope you're not lonely. Any plans for buffing more perks? The latest perk changes were great, and I want more.
Oh yeah, there's always plans to buff more perks. Probably gonna nerf a few too. You know, it's just how it is.
Alrighty. And so another question from the World Wide Web, from Inferno427. Will we ever see a non-humanoid monstrous killer like a giant spider or a snake? Get it? Web, snake? Yep. All right.
Yeah, that one didn't slide under the radar.
I don't get it.
I'm gonna move past it with an actual answer. Just gonna say never say never. You
Yeah,
never know what the
Myers
future holds or
needs
opportunities might
an
come up.
update
Like, I think
desperately.
the Demogorgon was the first monster-esque version, but who knows what we'll have after that.
All right. From Dexy4 or Dexy IV, I'm not really sure if it's a 4 or an IV. I'm sorry. Morris were teased to be part of the base gameplay loop in the 5th year stream. Chris, you can share.
The progress I can share is that we are still working on it. It's not a small thing. It's a big thing. We're very excited about it. Until I have something more concrete, I'm not gonna tease you any further.
Yeah. Definitely lots and lots of work being done on it. That's definitely something we can all safely, I want to say. All right, from Boosted Dwight. So many Dwights here. All right. Are there any plans to add graphics options for the console versions of Dead by Daylight? For instance, option to choose between lower settings for higher frame rate or settings for better visuals like other games do.
I have to say, when actually like inquiring about this one just to get more info, I learned a bit myself.
Ghostface is better than Myers, I'd say, though.
So just to preface, there are no current plans
agree
to
they
actually
both low down,
create these
but
options for DVD
Myers
because
does
it's actually
need it
not
more.
one that would
Yeah.
benefit from these. And this is because of the older generations. So basically what you're seeing when you see these modes is a lot of adjusting how the GPU is prioritizing different settings, just like how you would on a PC.
Mm-hmm.
But DVD is actually one that's more affected by the processor on these platforms, which we can't actually adjust. So I wish we could, but it's just not something that we can do.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for answering that question. I do see some people kind of asking like, oh, how shall I put this? The majority of the answers are we will see. I think it's important for us to answer a lot of these questions, even if they are a we will see, just so that you as a player base understand and know that this is something that is on our radar and it is something that we are working on. So while some of these questions are a soon TM, we will see soon, we think it's better to at least communicate and say that something's on our radar than to, not say anything at all, especially when we're dealing with a Q&A. All right,
I think I've seen. I was gonna say. I think I've seen people asking, "When are you gonna buff insert killer here?" in the chat, and they've covered every single killer. I can't buff all of them in one patch, folks.
Why not?
There's only so many hours in the day, but we
Do
are
it.
thinking about which ones to do next all the time.
Yeah. All right, from Dr. Knockers 05. Why didn't Deathslinger get us perks and other underwhelming / unexciting add-ons improved?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what I was just saying. As I mentioned earlier, when talking about the mid-chapter patch, we're trying to shift to a place where we give lots of killers a little bit of love more regularly, rather than deep diving on just one or two killers. So the Deathslinger saw a couple changes that we knew we wanted to do, that we were focused on delivering those little bits and pieces. The
This
nice
one's
thing
for
that
you,
this means,
Si.
we aren't ruling the Deathslinger out from seeing more changes sooner than we would traditionally readjust a killer. So I'm not telling you we're gonna, adjust more things on Deathslinger next patch, but I'm saying it's not like Deathslinger's gonna have to wait 5 years until we touch him again.
Amazing. From Altar, can we see a modern kill/pick rate chart for killers?
Can we?
Yes, we can.
Do we have one?
Oh, this is interesting.
I think we got an asset. Were you
Okay.
ahead of the curve on this one?
There we go.
Ahead of the
There we
curve.
go.
Oh, the
Not
nest
much of a
is
curve
so
there,
low.
really more of just a slope.
I
But yeah.
tried.
So yeah, these stats are from July to September of this year. It's worth
Past
keeping
3 months, I guess, just to really sum it up
Pinhead's
that way.
top.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So it's worth keeping in mind this
Pinhead
is for
top.
all ratings
That's
of players,
interesting.
all MMR. I think this actually includes before MMR went live, so also ranks, right? This is just all games played on all the maps.
You know what
on
that
all the
means,
platforms,
guys.
right? PC,
Pinhead
console,
nerf
everybody's
coming up.
bundled together here. Yeah, don't place too much concern on all of these stats. Note that the highest one is around 60% and the lowest one is around 42%. So this is the bar size is not directly correlated and proportional to the numbers next to them. Keep
Nest
that in mind.
buff required.
But yeah, there's some neat stuff in there. Cenobites kicking it up at the top now.
Yeah. And I guess this is also a good
Mr.
opportunity to
Hehe22,
mention that,
welcome
we
to the
shouldn't
chat.
base,
They
or, like,
haven't
to not
mentioned
base
anything
opinions
about
just
any
purely off of
potential new
stats,
killers. They
like,
haven't
they
mentioned
don't tell the
Springtrap or
full
Jason or
story,
anything.
and I think Patrick would want to go a little more into that as well, but, specifically about the
Well,
nurse
they
stats, I
spoke
think
about
someone's making a joke
upcoming
there
changes
about
for
Softener.
Legion and
Yeah,
Ghostface
the
next.
nurse is like the greatest example of this, I think, in Dead by Daylight, because the
Boone
nurse,
Totems are getting
if
nerfed.
you've ever
We've
played
mentioned
against
that as
a
well.
really good nurse player, that is a hard time. Really good nurse players are just terrifyingly good at this game. But, the first 10 games that you play as the nurse might not be that scary for your opposition. Nurse
10
is
games?
a really
Try 100.
high skill ceiling character that requires a lot of practice to get good at. So you see that sort of stat and you see, oh yeah, nurse is low kill rate. I think is nurse one of the free characters? I think nurse is one of the free characters.
Yeah, she's one of the free ones you start with.
Nurse is one of the free characters. So, everybody has access to nurse. Most people give nurse a couple tries, realize, oh no, this is not for me, and move on to a different character. So yeah, it's not a huge surprise that you see nurse living at the bottom of that. And you can conjure up similar sort of player experience stories for almost every killer in the game.
All right.
Mr. Hehe, they did mention about
Sorry, I just want to talk
playing
about
against, if we would rule out any, or rule in,
fantastic nerf.
linking up with another video horror game, and they said no, because they're all video horror game fans, so, but they didn't say anything further
I do see some
about
questions
it.
about Steam Deck. I'm seeing a couple questions about, things like keyboard and mouse support. We do have the answers to those questions in a little bit. But first, we have a question from AnsoX. Are there any plans to review the rewards for grades? Getting all the way to Iridescent 1 is a little underwhelming at the moment.
So I would say, we started off with the values that we have just for safety. We aren't planning on adjusting them all just yet. We've only had, I think at this point, one full grade reset, so we need time to just
I think
evaluate, and
Hardscope,
then
I
we're
think
gonna
the
see where we
lawsuit
need to
has
adjust from
been
there.
resolved. I
But
still
in the
think there's a lot of
meantime,
issues
that's
if we were
still,
looking to get him into the
500,000
game,
EP
but
that we earning monthly.
I do think the lawsuit's
Invest in some
finished now,
characters, get ready to boost that
in
MMR.
regards to Jason.
Yeah, and of course, everything is, usually subject to change anyway,
But it's
right?
not
We take
clear
your
cut.
feedback,
I think
I want to
the
say
owner's
seriously,
got the right
and while it
back
might take a
for
little bit to
one
actually
element,
implement those
the
changes,
movie, the
it is
production
something
team
that
have
the team
kept one
definitely
right,
considers.
so it's not as
All
clear
right,
cut
from
as what
Terminator
people are
guy,
making
love
out.
this guy's name. Can we get Meyer's old stalking music back, but for the killer's perspective only? So this is a very good question, and for those of you that have been around for a while,
Yeah, it's actually a really good question. I'm not promising anything because that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to update y'all, but I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write that down.
There you go.
I'm gonna write
We're
that down.
writing it down. We're gonna discuss it internally. I'm probably not part of those discussions, but All right. From the Nightmare. Some time ago, there was talk of a new mechanic at the beginning of the games. Could you please share
the
something
early
about
game
this?
that they mentioned.
Hang on, I'm still writing it down. Okay. Okay.
It's MYERS, Pat.
Oh, Meyer. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. So, well, that was about the beginning games thing. Yes. Okay. Sorry, just remembering the question that I'm actually answering. The short answer is no. We're not. We're not actually going to be doing that. The long answer, to explain that a little bit, is yes. A while ago, there was some talk about adding an additional mechanic or scenario for the beginning of the game. But
Which would prolong the
after a
game
lot of discussion with the design
and
team,
stop the gen
and a
rush.
couple little prototypes and ideas being bounced around, we couldn't find something to add there that we felt made the game better. It almost always made the game worse. So we're not trying to make the game worse for y'all, so we didn't want to do that. That said, some of those ideas got rolled into other prototypes we're working on, other ideas. Some of them just got cut. Right, we were talking about earlier about the Mori system, right? Some of the ideas from that started as early game scenario sort of ideas have been integrated into the Mori system, a more general concept. But yeah,
I don't know if
not
any of you
everything
guys are
that we
football
talk
fans,
about
but this
makes
guy
the
reminds
cut
me of Harry
to get
Kane. I
into
just
the
keep
game.
seeing Harry Kane every
And
time I
we
look
usually
over.
try not to talk about them with y'all before we cross that threshold, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes we get excited about things
Yeah.
and want to
Yeah.
bring them up, and then we end up deciding, nah, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And priorities also play a role in this, I am assuming, as well. But yeah, so we've got another question from Dexy, again, 4 or IV. I'm very sorry. At some point, let me know. Will all
Gotta be
killers
4.
get their own chase theme eventually?
so I know everyone loves these. I think our sound team actually does an amazing job with each new one that they make. And we definitely want to keep making them. So I can't say who is next, but more are coming.
Yeah, so basically don't fret. Okay, are these puns are gonna get me like in trouble? In trouble or something?
That one
you know?
will.
Oh, okay, all right. They're too much pun. All right, I'm done. From Sim Huntress, we have a question. I know it's Sim Huntress. I love this name.
Oh, it's still the puns to the puns. I was like, I
Segue
didn't
into
bring
the
my A game.
question. Is the Twitter person treated okay? You better feed them enough. And actually, I feel qualified to answer a question for a change, you know? So the Twitter person's actually a couple different people. And, you know, long story short, we used to really huddle under this big,
It's
giant,
Victor
like,
and
trench
Charlotte.
coat, but we haven't really been able
You
to
heard
do
it
that
here
since we've been working
first.
from home. So nowadays, we just kind of pretend we're this single made-up person that's running the account. Overall, we're treated pretty well, though. You know, if we're best behavior, I promise that wasn't a pun. We do get a 6-piece nugget to share, not each. And then usually we can't agree on a sauce, so you know things get a little bit heated sometimes. But overall, we're treated pretty well. We do eat enough. As an actual like aside on a serious note, you know, we do have 6 official accounts in a variety of different languages as well. So while it looks like one person is running the account, there's many people
I know,
that
that's
are
what I thought.
you know,
I
coming up
do
with a
like
lot
the
of
Twitter
memes,
person for
puns,
DBD though. They
localizing
are
those
quite
puns for different
humorous.
languages as well. So you know, it's
But I don't give
pretty
a shit if
great.
they're treated okay.
The player
They're just,
experience team is fantastic.
that's none of my
and,
business.
yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. From Ultra Bloke, we've got another question asking, do you have any plans for more licensed tomes /
So love the question because I think that as soon as we did Bill, there was a lot of interest rising from all of that, and you know, just getting Bill done, we had tons of fun actually working with Valve. I'm someone who played Left 4 Dead, Half-Life, all those games back in the day when you know they were fresh, 3 when, and love working with those guys, love talking about that content. And one of the most appealing things about actually bringing a license to DBD was that we could do a unique take on the content and really kind of like just explore the lore in a way that fans of the license would actually appreciate. So when we launched Archives, I just want to go back here a bit to say we tried to focus on our original characters and explore them a bit. But as we continue to go through the list and shine a light on each of these, we end up thinking, you know, whose story do we want to tell next? And sometimes discussions, you know, with partners can go the right way and we end up having an opportunity for a licensed character, as happened with Bill. And we'll certainly have more in the future, and it should be pretty exciting for our fans and partners, because there's some exciting stuff to come, is all I can say.
For sure. For sure. All right, from Liberita, will you shorten the gap between groups with voice comm and solo queue?
That's a good
Spicy
question. Yeah, it's a good question. It's something we talk about a lot, actually. We're always and actively looking at how to bridge that information gap for groups and solo survivors. Like, the challenge here is we're essentially talking about ways to make solo queued survivors feel more capable of interaction and communication with other solo survivors, but also about how to make them feel part of a team when that solo survivor gets paired up with, say, like a 3-stack Survive with Friends, right? It's really easy for Survive with Friends groups to just leave that solo player on a hook to die and not feel bad about it. It's a stranger. I don't care about what happens to him. But nobody wants to be the solo in that position. So yeah, we're looking at ways and discussing ways right now actively for how we can bridge that gap a little bit and get those solo players feeling more like they're part of the team and less singled out by 3 men. Yeah, let's not alone. Where's not lonely? Not lonely. Yeah, we want our survivors to feel more not lonely.
Yeah, exactly. All right, from Ratherick, why were there no Twins, Legion, or Executioner add-on or quality of life changes?
Yeah, to be clear,
See,
the
these are the sort of
mid-chapter
questions I should be
that's
answering.
coming out soon, TM. Very soon, that one. Is very soon TM
Very
the timeline? Very soon TM. But yeah, that mid-chapter patch is touching, I think, about just shy of half of the killers in the game. That's a lot of changes that are going in. And that's only if you ignore the fact that we rewrote all of the killer add-on text to include specific numerical values, right? Which was not an insubstantial amount of work. So yeah, the thing is that we have a huge number of killers in this game, and we keep adding more. It's beyond any sort of reasonable scope for us to change every killer that everyone plays in every mid-chapter patch. That doesn't mean that we're never going to update them. You know, I see Twins, Legion. I've already talked about Legion a bunch today. Twins, Executioner, you know, people talk about their favorite killer, the one that they really love. It doesn't mean we're not going to give them any love. It doesn't mean we're not paying attention to them. But we have a backlog, and there's only so many hours in the day for us to do that work.
Exactly. We wish that a day was longer than 24 hours.
Oh boy.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
All right, from Tate, do you ever take inspiration from full fan created chapters? So not like feedback for existing stuff, but from these full fan created chapters that you sometimes see on YouTube where, you know, it's a big license that they're trying to be like, oh, this would be really, really cool.
Aliens.
Do you take any inspiration from those types of suggestions?
So we absolutely love all the work that you guys put into those. But truth be told, we virtually, I would say, never take inspiration from these, just because our chapters are worked on so far in advance. And I really emphasize these so far because we really plan everything very far out with, you know, a wide variety of things that we need to consider, you know, like tech limitations or, you know, like licenses. There's all different things that can really come into play. But we love reading the comments that you guys have for all of this about, you know, how much you'd love to see a certain type of character or, you know, specific character exactly. And, you know, when it happens that we are actually working on something that kind of meets that need, that's thrilling for us because we know you're going to love what we actually end up with.
Exactly. All right, I think we have a very short answer to this next question.
Yeah, that was a good one as well.
From Nate Games 94, are there any plans to bring the chat box to console?
Nope. It's just
nope.
I don't know if you want to.
Nice and
I don't know if you
simple
want to
answer
elaborate
there.
a little bit more on that, but at the end of the day, that is a full answer. No.
At least it didn't say we'll see.
From Crimson Moth King, I know I see spicy chats coming in.
I'm ready.
There's reasons.
Good question.
But yeah, maybe we can have another Q&A with some more details at a later date. From Crimson Moth King, when players suggest buffs/nerfs, do you take any of what has been suggested into consideration?
Yeah, like you saw me taking some notes already in today's meeting, or today's call. Yeah, we absolutely do. It's great to hear what you folks have to say about the state of the game, about perks, stuff like that. We don't always, and we can't always act on everything that comes in from you. Again, time, your priorities. There's only so many people on the team, but it's very common for player perceptions to help guide our thought process when we're working on designs. That said, you stand a much better chance of your feedback to being seriously considered if you are civil about it. I'll have you all know that my mother is a very classy lady, and any design suggestions which call that into question will be immediately discarded.
I want to say,
Be nice,
I guess one
people.
thing
Yes,
to mention
be
is
nice.
yes, we do look at all your feedback, even the critical stuff. So we're happy to look at it. We might not always be able to reply. There are so many pieces of feedback and comments there that even with a team as large as ours, it is not always possible to reply to every single person. But rest assured, we do comb through the forums, all of our official channels, even unofficial channels like Facebook groups, Reddit, and Discord, like just everywhere. So, we're looking quite substantially at where you guys are leaving feedback. All right. From Wish I Could Main, and I wish I had the answer to, who this person wants to main. When will the Realm Beyond resume?
So nothing to announce just yet on this, but we're not done with it.
Realm
we
Beyond,
will
that's
resume
the map
Realm Beyond at some
update?
point.
And y'all truly go above and beyond with it. All right.
I think that's a
I want to
map
be that guy
update,
for
isn't
a
it?
second because I saw a wonderful question in the chat going by. Do you go to therapy after reading all the toxic comments? My therapy is
Oh boy.
my therapy's over there. It's my home bar. It does a great job.
Amazing.
No, it's actually because I was joking about it in the last one, but there are people who leave toxic comments and are not always as nice to us as they could be. Do we go to therapy? Some of us do. Welcome to
Yeah.
mental health awareness, folks. Some of us do. For your comments, probably not.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
I think we actually get into something kind of touching on this later on. Like
Yeah.
there's a question
Yeah.
that's going to
We
address some
do
of this.
have more. Exactly.
We
Exactly.
still have
I wonder how long
quite a
this
few pages of
stream
things
is
left.
going
Oh,
on
God,
for.
We got
yeah,
a few
there
more
are a
left.
lot.
Yeah, we're gonna try and fly through a couple of these that are a little more have a little bit more of a blunt answer, I want to say. So from Iron Carbide, are there any plans to show us what our skill-based matchmaking ratings
Good question.
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I see that one a lot. Honestly, we have no plans right now to show or expose your MMR or the exact rating what you
Why? I
have. The
just
main
don't understand
concern
why.
about that is toxicity and elitism. I've personally played other games where they have various numerical representations of skill, and it can get pretty gnarly between players. Oh, I don't want to hear what you have to say. Your number is lower than my number. So yeah, we think it would generate a bit of a schism between the more competitively minded players and the less competitively minded players. That said, we are also in the early stages of looking at ways to cater to both of these groups, the competitive who want to see the number, the non-competitive who don't, without making it a nightmare for either. But I think y'all know what I'm going to say. Soon TM.
Yeah, needless to say, a lot of these things are basically on the radar. They're just early in the plans, or maybe they're later on in the plans, but there's still things that need to be finalized.
The thing is, with
so.
A
the
lot of stuff we wanna do,
SBMM
only
now,
so much time to do it.
is
Exactly.
people are doing
Alright,
that now.
Gah,
If you
or
go on YouTube
Gah?
now and check out some of the
Oh,
thumbnails of
I don't know.
other
Are you-
content creators,
Are you
high
planning to
MMR,
support the
top
subject? And I
MMR,
believe there's
top
an article
MMR
written
player
about
in
this
EU,
recently.
top
There
MMR
is
player in
actually,
America.
so we already
So
provided
people have already
answers.
started
Verge,
doing
who
that. I
was,
think
inquiring
it'd be
a
interesting to
few
see
game
what
developers,
people's
if they would
MMR
be supporting
actually
it or not.
is,
So we
and see if
do
it stacks
plan
up to what they're
support it.
saying.
I think the Steam Deck's really cool. I really want to try it myself. But it requires updating of the anti-cheat system to a version that would support it, and for when we will actually do that, we don't
'Cause the
currently have a
anti-cheat
date, so we
system's
can
doing
promise
really well
that
at the
Dead by
minute.
Daylight will actually run on it at Steam Deck launch.
Exactly. So just to clarify for those of you that did read that article, don't necessarily expect it to run at launch. We shall see. All right, from you, Kaneki. Yukniki, maybe?
UK Aniki.
Plans to make being face camped less punishing. Do we have anything in the works for that?
We
Less
do.
punishing.
I was
Oh, yeah,
actually
for the
getting
survivor.
very excited about it in a meeting earlier today with some of the team. Yeah, face camping has been a thorn in design side for some time. So to be very clear about this, the design team, we don't like that it's currently such an appealing option for killers to face camp survivors. In theory, it can be countered by leaving the camped player on the hook and just going and doing gens instead, and then everybody else can leave the game, and it's bad for the killer in that regard. In practice, in actual execution, it takes a lot of time for players to realize that face camping is happening before they go and find generators and start fixing them,
Mm-hmm.
and that basically makes the counter so much less effective. So while fixing this problem, one of the things we're trying to avoid is we also don't want to remove what I'll call proxy camping. So proxy camping, when I'm talking about it here, that's when a killer hangs out near-ish to the survivor on a hook, maybe trying to use them as bait, trying to lure out other people. This is a legitimate strategy with risks, counters, like there are perks that can deal with that sort of thing. So getting something that helps with specifically face camping but doesn't negatively impact proxy camping, mouthful. That's tricky. That's really hard. We've tried many times before to do this. Tried a whole bunch of times, and almost every time we've tried it in the past, there's been some sort of deal-breaking issue with it. Sometimes we've figured out in our attempts, we figured this out just by reading the paper designs. Sometimes we've figured this out after making a prototype to playtest. One of those playtests even made it onto a PTB a while ago for those who have been around long enough, and you'll note it's not in the game yet because it didn't quite make the cut. The tease here, of course, is that we recently had yet another idea on this topic, and we're going through the paces, designing it out, vetting it through various people to see if we can finally crack the nut that is the face camping problem. When will you see it? Soon, TM. That said, if history is any indication, you won't see it because every time we've tried, we haven't managed to figure it out.
Yeah.
However,
Especially while testing, from what I
yeah,
understand.
especially while testing. However, this time might be different. People are getting pretty jazzed about it, and the people who usually shoot down this idea in previous iterations are kind of giving thumbs up and nodding approvingly. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, but
All right.
soon TM.
Soon TM, indeed. All right. So as mentioned, we're going to try and maybe go through a couple of these a little quicker if possible.
Just while they're asking that question, it was interesting what was said there, guys. So he said, by the time it takes survivors to realise that someone's face camping, the damage is already done. So I'm wondering if you face camp as a killer within certain proximity. So he mentioned about proxy camping was fine. So say, for instance, they might turn around and say, if you're within 5 meters of the survivor on the hook, that it activates an aura like Kindred, so the survivors can actually see that you are face camping. However, once you go out of that, your aura leaves, just exactly like Kindred, but without Kindred needing to be on. That sounds like something that it could possibly bring in.
Yeah, it's
That's just me speculating.
On the design side, the priority kind of goes up for something like this as we keep adding more ranged killers to the game, right? But as usual, nothing to announce right now. It is something, though, that we've been thinking about and discussing.
Amazing. All right. From Keiru or Ikeru, I'm not really sure if those are decorative. Are there any plans for mouse and keyboard support on console? Many people in chat also asking this question.
So I won't give you a soon TM, but I will say there are no plans to support this on console.
Yeah, so that's
It'd be a wet blanket, Justin.
The wettest, as if you left out in the fog yesterday morning, where it looked like Silent Hill out here. So that was neat.
All right. From King Solo, how do you decide which perks, add-ons to buff, change, rework? What's the process for doing so?
Yeah, it's a great question. Which perks or add-ons get changes is something that can come from a variety of different avenues. We have access on the developer side to a lot of different data from millions of matches played every week, and it shows us how different perks and add-ons generally perform. So we look at things like how often people with that add-on win games or kill, in the case of killers, how often they kill survivors, how often survivors escape, and also just popularity, how often they get picked. Sometimes we look at this data and we can see some obvious outliers, like a perk that has an abnormally high win rate or an extremely low pick rate, something like that. Sometimes we're also inspired by fan content and comments that you folks leave on the forums and in other social media places, right? To figure out, a lot of people are talking about this and making this point about how this add-on or this perk is too strong, not strong enough, or whatever. More than once, I've even been sent YouTube videos about memes, meme builds, or specific bugs or issues that bring it onto our radar. So, we do, in fact, consume that content and use it for inspiration. And of course, sometimes we just figure it out by playing the games ourselves, right? We're a big team with lots of people, and I will frequently get a message from somebody in the team saying, hey, I was playing last night, and this thing happened, and it felt kind of weird, and that's enough to at least spark an investigation into the topic. No matter how it comes to our attention, though, the question quickly turns into, okay, that's a problem, but why? Why is it like that, right? What's the property of this perk, for example, that makes it too strong? Or what's the property of this add-on that makes it so boring? So we have to figure out the answer to that question before we can come up with a real proper solution, and then implement it, and then test it out, and make sure we haven't mucked up anywhere along the way before moving on to the next thing that needs attention. So it's not as simple as just going like, turn that number up or turn that number down. We have to actually figure out why these perks or these add-ons are having their problems.
Yeah, exactly. So you mean to say that, some things perk up your ears when they need your attention.
Really
Anyway.
perked my interest.
From Onyx, can you increase survivor blood point gain? Another very popular question, I want to say.
Yeah, no, it's and a really good question to ask. We've been talking about long-term plans to reassess blood points awarded and how quickly they're earned,
The grind
and stuff like
as well.
This includes addressing survivor blood point earnings. We know that survivors, on average, earn fewer blood points per hour than killers do. It's something we want to adjust, but we always have to make sure we don't over-adjust or muck it up. So again, soon TM, no timeline on that, but it is something work is actively happening on.
Exactly. And yeah, I know a lot of people in the questions are also mentioning, hey, it's, a lot of these questions are, again, soon TM, but at the end of the day, I think it's important for us to say, hey, we have seen that these are some of your most upvoted questions and most popular questions.
Alex, answer your question. Crosshair on range killers, cheating or not cheating? I would say it's cheating. However, I've been tempted myself to try it just to see what it's like. Other people have said to me they do it, so not sure.
Very normal, very casual. Will any core game mechanics be
This is going to be no.
Stipulations here. When we're talking about the phrase core game mechanics, I consider core game mechanics to be things that are universal to all games played. So having a killer that messes about with a mechanic, like say how Pyramid Head messes around with Moris, right? He has his own Moris that he can do. But that only impacts
soon
the
TM,
games
I think, is the
right? That doesn't impact all the games that are played for Dead by Daylight.
The
so
hashtag for this one.
You can argue that perks are kind of the same when it comes to core mechanics. Boone Totems, for example, they're super neat, but if nobody takes a Boone Totem into the match, do Boone Totems even exist? Not for the purposes of that match, right? So in terms of core game mechanics, things that go for every game, there's not really a lot to talk about right now. We've got the Mori changes that we've sort of hinted at and discussed a little bit earlier, and we've also discussed in the past that keys would be integrated in playing with that Mori system in a new and interesting way. I think those are two, I mean, even keys, I say keys, same argument about how maybe nobody brought a key to that match, right? So the Moris are probably the big one that we talked about in the anniversary stream that I would consider to be a core mechanic. The thing about core mechanics is when you touch them, it's a change that touches every aspect of the game. Maybe not directly, but also indirectly. So it requires a lot of time, a lot of planning, a lot of playtesting to actually get it right, which is why I'm not really giving you more information about the Mori changes right now, because what what we're working on right now is almost assuredly not going to be what y'all end up playing when it's finally in the game.
Right. Exactly. All right. Thank you for that answer. We do have a very interesting question here from One Caged Heart, and that is, what inspires you to continue development in spite of the negativity you'll sometimes receive?
Yeah, this is one I think. This would be one I'd actually love to get answers from everyone on the dev team, because I think you'll get something. A lot of similarities, but it'd be interesting to hear what all the differences are. And we have, I think, a few other devs that managed to answer this. Just personally, I mean, speaking from experiences, when stuff does get out, like and we see how excited you guys are for everything, you know, we kind of just like forget about all of the bad moments, all of the. And
You know, the
we
funny thing is, we're
get
talking about the
toxicity.
questions and the Twitter guy.
It's really
It's
focusing
like
on the good. And
the
what
devs
that
did say,
brings
these
to the
guys
player
said they've
experience.
looked at the questions that were
Because at the end of
voted
the day,
up
that's all that
and
matters.
most
Not that there's a
popular.
lot of heroes
So
there
you
with
guys, not you
something
on
that
chat or
others
whatever,
wouldn't
but
have thought of, but
the
like when we
players of
released
this game were like, we
Pinhead
need to
and saw a
have
bunch
an
of
answer to this question if the
talking
Twitter
about
guy's being
that was an
treated well,
amazing day.
and
It's
just
something
like
that you kind of
all
hold on to.
liked it or shared it or
I'll
retweeted it
jump
or
in on that
whatever.
one and say, for me personally, Pinhead
Crazy.
is a really good example of this for me. It's recent, it's fresh in my mind, but when I first learned that we were getting Pinhead and we were going to be putting Pinhead in the game, I went and watched all of the Hellraiser movies. I'd never seen any of them before, and I don't know, I was looking for something to do, so I watched all the Hellraiser movies. I got really into it. I really enjoyed the experience. Not necessarily all the movies, but I became a Pinhead fan. And while we were working on it, I would start seeing posts from players in various locations being like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if they added Pinhead to this game? And I'm sitting at my desk going, oh boy, oh man, you're going to be so happy soon. I get you, buddy. I've watched all the movies too. I know how exciting that idea is. And so it was really this moment of kind of, I had the excitement that these players were going to have ahead of time. And I was so looking forward to getting to share that kind of glee with the community and have that moment where it's out there and they get to have that moment too. So yeah, that part's great. I'll also point out that we asked some people on the team for other answers, so it's not just Justin and I here. So I'll read those out real quick. I did write them down. Hey, Almo answered. Good old Ethan from the design team said he said I'll read for him. I'm not going to do an impersonation though.
Too bad.
I know, right? I couldn't do him justice anyway. I've been a professional game developer for 20 years, and I was making games on my own for many years before that. In all that time, DBD is the most fun I've ever had most fun game I've ever had the privilege to work on. It's a great feeling to be able to play a game that I like, find something that I'd like to change, and then say, oh yeah, I can change that. A great example was the old 25% chance to escape from trapper tramps. I didn't like that system and was very happy that the new 1 to 6 attempt system was liked by the rest of the design team, so I could move on and put it in the game. We also got another answer from another designer, Vince. He said, it's the player base that inspires me. I love it when I see players come up with an interesting build that I didn't think about. Sometimes when I watch
Have you guys got Twitter, by the way? Because I've just got a great idea. What I'm going to do now, based on the fact that it's really bugging me about this Twitter guy, I'm going to every day tag this Twitter guy just to make sure that they are okay, based on the fact that that was a question that is brought up, and I'm going to make a video of it. Until the Twitter guy replies to me, I'm going to keep doing it until I get a reply from Dead by Daylight's behaviour Twitter guy. Yeah. So if you do have Twitter, give me a follow and like the tweet, and I'll start it off tonight. After this stream, I'm going to get straight onto Twitter and I'm going to message a Twitter guy and show some love to him.
Get angry and get up in arms, or get really excited, or get really happy, or get emotional. It's such a rewarding and a beautiful thing. And as somebody that's on the player experience team, I think overall, we love seeing your reactions on social. We love reading your comments, and even when things are a little bit tough, like, we cannot thank you guys enough for being such an amazing community. It is definitely, I want to say, a privilege, and even when things get spicy, I will take that ghost pepper with honor and joy.
We're happy to have you take it for us.
Ghost pepper challenge on stream when?
Oh goodness. All right. So we do only have we have a few more questions left. So again, we'll try and go through some of them a little quicker if possible, because we are running out of time a little bit. But we will try and answer all
What
of
is
them.
the inspiration
From
for
Adam,
Boone
1, 2, 3,
Totems?
3, 4, 6, 7. I guess the 5 was taken. What was the inspiration for Boone Totems?
Yeah, the idea for Boone Totems was to explore the potential of totems with new perks that just interacted completely differently than hex perks. Boone Totem, like I said before, it's meant to feel like a little safe haven, something that doesn't often happen in a game of TBD. Feel like you've got a little safe haven where survivors can kind of gather.
Yeah, there's not many safe haven in DVD, just the 25 pallets that spawn on there, the 5 or 6 extremely safe loops,
Alright,
Killer
so we do have a
Shack.
handful
But besides that, there's
of
not many
questions
safe
we also
havens for
wanna
the
go through.
survivors.
These were taken from our DVD community around the world. Again, as mentioned, all of these communities were taken from our social media channels and the forums. So these were the most upvoted questions by all of you. These are the questions you wanted to see answered the most. So from Chaba Green from Japan, are 360s intended? It's extremely frustrating and irrational to miss the attack after getting very close to the survivor.
So I'd say the 360s, they are an intentional mechanic in DBD. It's whether it's your last desperate attempt to avoid the killer's attack, which usually doesn't work. I'm myself am absolutely terrible at it. I played against a lot of devs who are much better than me, and then the chance you can pull it off, just occasionally now and then I can, and it's exciting. So of course, anytime you actually miss an attack as a killer, that's going to be frustrating. But that's part of the thrill when hunting the most elusive game of all, humans.
Well, Hardscope, you watched that Freddy game of mine.
Alright.
I felt like the survivors had a lot of safe places then, and Boom Totems weren't even in then.
Killers who have different move speeds other than 4.6 meters per second or 4.4 meters per second.
Kind of, but not really. Movement speed is one of the trickiest parts of Dead by Daylight to balance correctly. Even minor changes can dramatically impact the balance of the game. So to keep things easy, we sort of reuse known values, right? We have a couple of killer move speeds that we know work and are generally balanced that we try to use for our templates for killers. Trying to balance around a range of move speeds would just be...
Yeah, I'm still traumatized about it. I'm going to watch it again, because I always turn around and say I'm not going to complain about a game because there's always things that probably went wrong. I was a bit traumatized about the vacuum, when the survivor seemed to float in between the pallet before I even got a chance to pick them up. I was a bit aggrieved about that because the stun was going to happen. I was a bit aggrieved about the amount of pallets, but I am going to rewatch it and see what I could have done better. But that was a bad game. It just felt like they had all the safe places.
Right, so as a question from Japan, I guess it makes a lot of sense because we know there's a huge community on PS4, and I mean, respect to you guys. Like we love we love our Japanese players. So I would say, as long as people are still playing on these consoles, the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and it's still technically possible for us to support it, we're going to keep on supporting them. There's no plans to cut support on these anytime soon.
Exactly. All right, so we have a question from, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but I got help from our regional community manager in Japan on this one. I believe it is Franco no Fudo ni Naritai, or Naritai? Yes, something like that. It translates to I want to be Frank's hood, and I agree. I would love to be Frank's hood. Do you plan to revisit old Killer's Mori animations, for instance, the Trapper, Wraith, etc.?
Oh, change them Moris, yeah. They're so old and dated.
So we know a lot of the updated or the new Moris, it's a very popular subject with players because our animation team has been fantastic lately. A lot of our new characters that have come out, spectacular. Again, Pinhead being one of the recent ones. That is just, chef's kiss. Patrick can do a much better example of that than me. Thank you. So it comes as no surprise that we also talk about Moris a lot internally. So I can't promise anything, but there is Mori to come.
I see what you done there.
It was too long until we had a pun.
I saw somebody in the chat saying that I'm painfully unfunny. I said, yeah, you're gonna call me out? and let
all
this
on the same
slide.
level
Funny
here.
pad, I'll share it.
Yeah,
All right,
the
no,
old,
we do,
even
and
the
I wear it
nurse
with
as well.
pride.
It's just so.
I do see some questions about Jill's face.
I
There
think
is a
it's
bug
just a
for
test
that.
of
We are
time, isn't it?
aware
I
of
mean,
it.
what
I
if we
believe
talking
we might
about
have
Trapper?
answered a
What was
couple of those
5 years
questions.
ago?
It's definitely a bug. Please do
So
not worry.
they just need
Yeah,
updates.
mouthful of bees. It's
Yes.
a bug, absolutely.
Do not worry. It is definitely a bug. All right. So from OO Deco OO, I think some of it was more decorative than anything. From Deco from Japan as well. Are you considering changing the generator repair speed?
Nope.
Basically a no. Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna repeat something. What would be a wet blanket?
Well, at the end of the day, it's not to say that nothing never changes, right? But
No, like it's
Not now.
something. It is a topic of conversation that comes up. Nothing is verboten in terms of design discussion on the team, but it's something that we don't see a good reason to do it. If we ever have a good enough reason and a solid argument, yeah, we'll do it. But you're asking if we're going to do it right now, or am I considering it? No.
Yeah. All right. So we have a question from two specific users in Russia. We have Phoenixus, not really sure, and Vector. Will you ever add public statistics such as kill/pick grades, personal stats for killers, etc., etc.?
Right. So this is something I think that we would actually love to do, but it's a lot of work taking that raw data and presenting it in a way that's actually digestible to players. So it's something that we have, on the wish list for the foreseeable future, but we don't really know when. So there are a lot of other things that are higher priority than this. So
This is a good
Says,
question,
"Don't
and
get your
it's
hopes
something
up,
that I
it's
need to
something
look at because when I do
we
release the
have
stats, it's
internally that
good to
we're
see.
thinking about."
Makes great content. People
All right,
talk about
from,
it.
Again, many various
People get a buzz about the
in
fact that nurse is at the
Russia.
bottom,
Will
things
you
like
ever
that.
separate solo queues or solo survivor queues from survive with friends for balance reasons?
Also, no. That one's a hard nope. There's a lot of complications with a system like matchmaking, and separating solo groups out entirely from survive with friends. It would. I understand the concept around I want my games to be balanced because of that. It would be massively detrimental to things like wait times to find matches, and other balance concerns would come out of that. So that's a pretty hard nope on that one.
There we go. All right. From Deathstroke668 in China, are you considering adding a match history system to the game? For instance, being able to look at your stats, replays of previous matches, etc., etc.
So in terms of replays, they're almost certainly not going to happen in DBD. I don't say to 100%, but it is something that is extremely complex because of the tech that would be required to do all of this. But there have been some discussions about being able to see the results of your last match at some point in the future. But again, this isn't even a soon TM. This is nothing is currently planned.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And all right, this is another one that I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of, but I did ask our regional community manager for some help on this. I believe it's Baigu Yixing Meow, which is something like it's haunted night meow, which is the username. I love it.
Well, let's answer it right meow.
Yeah, let's answer it right meow. Will it ever be possible to access more pages while queuing, such as the store, archives, and a couple of other things like that?
So, again, this is something that we definitely...
You know what I'd really like to see as well? I'm going to put it down as a question for next time as a Q&A, but I would love a rematch option. So, an option where if there's 5 players, killer and 4 survivors at the end of the game in the end game chat, you can vote to rematch and you can go straight into the game against the same team and the same killer. That I would like to see.
Once this is reworked, then we're going to be able to actually update some of these screen flows and change elements a lot more easily than before. Just like we have for the in-game HUD right now, I think it's allowed us to be a lot more flexible and reactive. And I mean, just trust us, we want this as bad as you do. We want you to be able to navigate all around the game while you're waiting for a match. Just sometime in the future is all we can say.
Yeah. All right. And this isn't from a lot of different people. This isn't from various people, but this is from many different people. We have, are there any plans to add loadouts, such as saving various perk builds and swapping between them a little more easily?
Oh man, I would love that. I
Yeah.
want
Me
loadouts.
too.
I love loadouts. Wouldn't that be nice? It's a suggestion we've seen a lot. Again, I agree with it. It's on our wish list, but it's not planned right now. You know, soon TM. Da da da. I'll do the little dance. It's that one's more a matter of time and priorities, right? We just haven't been able to find the time and a schedule where there's not something that. Wait, how am I going to say this without it being like a quadruple negative? Uh, we haven't found the right time where damn it, look, there's always something we want more. There's always something we want more than loadouts. It doesn't mean we don't
No
want
plans.
loadouts, but there's
No
always
plans,
something that just
gangs,
makes us go, that one, not
I
loadouts.
think we all want loadouts for sure, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It always comes down
Priorities
to
are
that
very
piece,
hard.
right? Yeah. It's as we mentioned, we sometimes wish that humans didn't need to sleep or eat, or that we could just keep working, but it's really hard to do that. And anyway, that actually is all 58 questions that we had. I think it came out to a little bit more than 58 because I picked a couple from chat that we were seeing that we were able to answer right now. As mentioned before, these were the questions we received from the forums and from Twitter. When we have another Q&A, we will announce when the submissions are open again. We're very happy that they're back. We know it's been a long, long time coming. But overall, just very quickly wrapping things up one more time. As a reminder, the player satisfaction survey is live now. Please check the socials and in-game news for more details. There's also the Dwight Crow charm, which is available until October 31st, which you can claim via promo code Dwight Crow.
Great minds,
we'll
hard
probably
scores,
talk
great
about maybe
minds.
seeing
We're
if we
both
can
typing
post
about the Twitter guy.
either timestamps or maybe the answers to these questions on the forums for those of you that weren't able to tune in for the whole thing, because we know there was a lot of questions. But yes, overall, thank you so much for joining us for this. Thank you so much to you, Patrick, and to you, Justin, for joining us and being able to answer some of these questions. Again, we know that some of the questions were more of like a soon TM, but we're really, really happy that we could at least...
All right, so what did you think, guys? What did you think? So it seems like it's been wrapped up now. I'm going to call it a night as well, but really interested, let me know in the comments. I'll put a post out as well, a community post. Please feel free to comment on there. Let me know what you think. There was some interesting things. There was, like all the questions and answers, there's always questions that you think, why is this in there? But Legion getting the rework next along with Ghostface. What do you think about that? No cross progression. Potential crossover with another video game. We'll see. Trying to think what else it said. No cross progression. Oh, Boone Totem nerf. Boone Totem nerf. That's probably the biggest news of all. Boone Totem nerfs. What did you think about that? So they're going to increase the time it takes to bless them. They're going to decrease the radius, and they're going to decrease. They're going to take away the stack effect that it has, so you can't have more than one affecting. 2-3 Boone Totems affecting one area. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know who I've switched on to here. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. So I'm going to end the stream now. It was great having you on. I am going to come back on again over the weekend. So I'll test out VPNs tomorrow, check out, see if we can get some podcasts going. But I will be keen to play some more games as well. She's so in trouble here. As I say, I don't know who this person is, but she's got a great cosplay on. But yeah, anyway. Right, alright guys, so thanks a lot for your chat. Thanks for the people. Hardscope, obviously hadn't seen you for quite a while. Thank you for coming back. Hope everyone's okay. And please feel free to join me on the next stream. Alright, yeah, I will put it on. As I say, I'm thinking now probably Saturday night. I'll try to commit to that for you guys. So I will put a message in the Discord just to let you know I'll be going live. Alright, thanks a lot.